So now that you have all the basic technical information you need to know about launching your own web hosting business, it is time to begin to put together your business and to begin to try to develop a kind of strategy around your business. So in this video, we're going to cover those things that you need to have ready before you start onboarding your customers. Now, a lot of the things we would cover in this video are things that you would later automate and you would get softwares to do for you. But it is important that you understand how they kind of fit into your business arrangement so that by the time you begin to automate them, you would know what to look for in, for instance, the billing software that you choose for your business, and you kind of get comfortable with setting things up and customizing things when you get to that point. So now that you are ready to launch your business, what are those things you need to arrange? Now, the first thing you need to think about is you need to think about having a brand identity. And the whole purpose of taking you through registering a domain name, setting up your own web hosting account, trying to show you how that you can put WordPress on your web hosting account and all of that is to get you comfortable towards the goal of you building your own identity. So your identity has to do with what name is your web hosting service going to be called. You probably want to put up a website to showcase the packages you have to offer and all of those things. So you need to come up with your brand identity. What name, your colors, your logos, and all of that. It's nothing fancy or something difficult when you are getting started, but at least you need to have an idea of what your brand identity would be like, because you would see shortly that you would need that when you start taking customers. The next thing you want to do is that you want to make sure that you have packages ready. Okay, you have packages ready, because when your customers start coming in, the first thing they want to do is they want to know what you have to offer. So you need to have packages ready, and what you need to do to create your packages is actually very simple. Like it has been covered earlier, what you want to do is that you want to get a provider. Now, if you're in Nigeria and you're watching this, you probably want to get a provider where you can pay for your web hosting fees in Naira. And I also recommend that you get probably a VPS server to start with so that your customers have the best in terms of the kind of speed and all of that they get on their server. So based on what you have, you probably want to make sure that you create packages ready. So you want to have different packages that when your customers ask you what you have to offer, or they come to your website and they check what you have to offer, they would see different packages that you have to offer. For instance, if you are getting a 270 gigabytes of space, for instance, you probably want to break that down into packages that your customers can easily get. So you say, okay, out of this 270 gigabytes of space, let me use 20 gigabytes. So you are allocating 20 gigabytes for the server and for your own personal use and all of that. And then you have 250 gigabytes left. So you can now say, okay, out of this 250 gigabytes of space that is left, let me just create 6 gigabytes each. And you say, okay, I'm going to do 6 gigabytes each. I'm going to just give that package maybe like a starter package, and I'm going to do 6 gigabytes each at 1,000 naira per month. So if you are doing 6 gigabytes each at 1,000 naira per month, it means you would be able to onboard that number of customers. When you divide the remaining 250 by 6 gigabytes, you can say, okay, I'm going to do a gold package at maybe something like 12 gigabytes, and then you are going to do it at maybe 1,500 naira per month and all of that. So you have to have your packages ready. Now, once you have created packages like this, The next thing you want to do is you want to come here, like has been shown you before. You come to packages. You come here, and then you come to packages right there, packages, and then you want to make sure that you add all those packages. So it's important. Make sure that those packages are added ready, because when your customers come, all you just need to do is just use those packages to create accounts for them, and it makes things very, very fast. So all the packages that you want to offer for each server you get, so the next time you get another server, you put those packages on it. The next time you get another server, you put those packages on it. And as your business expands, just make sure that you are replicating those packages on all those servers. So make sure that you have the packages ready. The next thing you want to do is that you want to have sample emails ready. Sample emails ready. So I'm just going to show you some sample emails that you need as a web host. Now, when you are just getting started with a web hosting business, obviously you won't have 100 customers to start with. You won't have 50 customers to start with. You'll start onboarding your customers 1, 2, 3, like that. Now, for a starter web hosting business, like I'm going to use myself as an example. When I was starting out in website hosting, I did most of the communications manually because I was not able to afford to pay for a billing control panel and be profitable. So I had to just manually send out all these emails. And so I created email templates for welcome email when a customer has paid for an account and that account has been created. Then there needs to be sent a welcome email to that customer, telling the customer, okay, these are the next steps you need to take. And this is an example of a welcome email. You go, okay, dear valued customer, welcome to our web hosting service. We're excited to have you on board and are looking forward to supporting you in building and growing your online presence. Please change your name servers at your domain registrar to this. So what you want to do is that the private name servers that you created earlier, because if you go back into the previous videos, you would see that once our domain name was registered, we actually created a private name server. And then we now use that private name server to update our domain name. So what you want to do is that you want to use your brand to register a name server. It might be your brand.com, it might be your brand.whatever.click.com.net.org. And then you want to create private name servers with your brand. Now, when your customers register or sign up with your business, what you want to do is that instead of asking them to go and start creating name servers and you are giving them your IP address, you don't need to do that any longer. What you just do is that you give them the name server that you have created. So you probably have a name server at your site.com, and then you create those name servers, and then in your welcome email you just put the name servers NS1 and NS2 there, and then you just tell your clients that they should update that name server at their domain registrar. Now it's not complex, it's very simple. The same name server steps that you did. Whatever domain registrar your client has registered on, all they need to do is to change that name server to the one you are providing in your welcome email. So you can just make sample tutorials of how to update name servers at different domain registrars and just have that ready for your clients. And then that's it. Once they change to that name server, then you go on. Please note, after changing your name server, it may take between 24 to 48 hours before your website is up and running, as name server propagation sometimes take this long. So you're just giving basic information. To get started, please log into your account apps. Then you give them the cPanel at their domainname.com, just like we have discussed previously, using the following credentials. Then you give them the username and the password to their account. And then once you are logged in, you would have access to a range of features and tools to help you create and manage your website. If you need any assistance along the way, our customer support team is always here to help. Thank you for choosing your web hosting provider. We hope you have a great experience with us and look forward to working with you. Sincerely, your company name. And you can now see your brand now starts to show. So I discussed earlier that you need to have a brand presence, and then your brand now starts to show up here because you need to now begin to push your brand. So each customer that comes to you becomes potentially someone who can refer you more customers. So you need to treat them well. So you have to have a template for welcome email message. So if you're a small startup company, you can start by sending out these mails manually, because you have one customer here, one customer tomorrow. You can just send them a welcome email manually. That's a template. The next template you want to have ready is you want to have a template that shows your customers, or that notifies your customers when their bill is about to be due. Usually, a web hosting service should start sending notifications 15 to 10 days before payment is due. So between 15 and 10 days before payment is due, you need to start sending notices. Usually you want to start sending those notices maybe from the 10th to 7th day before the payment is due. So if the payment is going to be due on the 7th of next month, then it means that starting from maybe around 30th or 28th of the previous month, you start sending a notice, and you have to have a template for that. And then what you want to tell them is, oh, dear valued customer, this is a notification that your web hosting billing for the current month is now due. The total amount for the billing is this, and then you put in the price. Please ensure this payment is made on or before the due date to avoid any interruption in service. You can easily make a payment through our secure online billing portal, whatever. Now, by the time you started having automation where you have control softwares to manage things for you, this is an email that you should set to go out. So you send reminders like maybe every day or every other day until the payment is made. Now, why are you doing this? Remember, the web hosting industry or the web hosting business is such that you can have recurring monthly revenue. That means whatever effort you put in, once you start having customers who are stable, you get paid every month. It's a form of passive recurring income thing. And you want your customers to pay on time every month, because you can now make projections based on that. If you say we have 100 customers, each of those 100 customers pay maybe 2,000 naira per month, it means that you can budget that by the end of the month we have 200,000 naira coming in, and then you can budget that by the end of the year we'll have 2.4 million coming in from our web hosting business based on 100 customers. So you want those customers to pay. And since you want them to pay, you have to encourage them to pay by sending them reminders. So you start sending reminders like 7 or 10 days before. And this is an email template sample for sending those reminders. Now, when people have paid, you need to also send them a notification that their payment has been received, because they need to know. So you have something like, dear customer, we confirm the payment of your web hosting. Thank you for your order, and thank you for providing us thank you for choosing us as your website hosting provider. So, and you keep making sure that the name of your company keeps going out with all these emails. So you can do emails like this as a template. You can do SMS notifications as templates, although SMS may not be very reliable. Sometimes you send text messages and you feel it was delivered, and then your customers don't get them. So you want to make sure that you send notifications, and these 3 templates are very, very important when you get started and you launch your business. They need to be there so that as customers come in, you send them a message. When their bills are due, you send them a message. When payment is made, you send them a message. So for a small web hosting company, you have 10 customers, you have 15 customers. You can actually do this manually and just have a template, put in the name of the customer and put in the amount that they owe, and then just send them a message, send them a reminder. It's easy to track. But once your business starts growing and you start having more customers than you can manually send emails to and keep track of, then you need to start doing automated billing. We'll discuss automation later, where you can actually automate the whole process so that the only thing you sit and work at is just customer support, and then you work at things like marketing, because that's very key. You need to do your marketing and get your marketing strategies right. Now, once you have all of these, then you are pretty much good to go. The next thing you want to do is that in a web hosting business, you want to very early when you onboard your customers, you want to make them to be aware that if they don't pay, you will turn off their services, because a lot of customers will test you and test your business resolve, and you need to deal with that very quickly. Now, the web hosting industry is such that when people don't pay, they get shut down. Now, I've lost accounts, I've lost entire servers just because my payment was due for like 48 hours. I forgot to make payments. There was an instance where the exchange rate caused a miscalculation and all of that, and I didn't have enough to make a payment. And before I was able to sort things out to say I wanted to make that payment on the server, the provider had turned off and deleted the server, and they deleted everything on it. That's how the web hosting industry is. Once your payment is due for a day or probably two, the account gets shut off. If you don't pay, the server gets wiped, and then that server gets sold to somebody else. Because the demand is so high and the business is so lucrative that nobody wants to keep holding space for a non-paying customer. So you need to also make your customers to be aware of this. And then starting early in your business, you need to make sure that you let your customers know that when they don't pay, there are consequences. Otherwise, people will owe you 2 months, 3 months, and that may eventually break down your business. So what you want to do is that once you have your accounts, like I said, you go to accounts, and for each customers you want to create account. Always remember to create a new account. Do not add your customers as subdomains. It's not effective for you as a web hosting provider. Always make sure that you do a new account. Now, once you do a new account and you have created the account for the customer by giving the username of the customer, the domain name, and all of that, you can go back and do list account. And when you do list account, what you will now do, right now there are no accounts, so let me just add a fictitious account. I'm just going to add a fictitious account to this server. Let me just do my example account.com, and then I just give that fictitious account. And then when you are creating an account, always make sure to add auto SSL to that account. We're going to cover that when we discuss SSL in the next video, because for a lot of your customers, they want to have SSL. If they cannot get SSL on their server, they start complaining. And then SSL is now free these days, you don't have to pay for it, but you need to know how to manage those SSLs so that SSL is always valid on the server. So we'll get to that in the next video. So what you want to do now is create auto SSL here by when you are creating the account, and then just do create. Now, once some fields are missing, okay, I'll choose a package. Let me just go with the gold package. You can now see why you need to create packages when you're starting. Now, if you feel like you want to make your customer a reseller, then you choose this. But then you as a reseller adding another reseller, that may be pushing the borders of things. So let's just create, and then once you create an account, that account gets created. So we just created a fake account. Let me just wait for that to be done. So we just created a dummy account. That's a fake account, just for you to be able to see. And what you do is that you now go back to list accounts on that user account, and then you list account. And then when you list account, what you would see is that you see for each customer you have hosted, you would see their usernames and their domains and all of that. And then you can change their email so that they will have a support email that you can contact. All these are for references so that it's easy for you to contact them and all of that. And then when a customer decides that he's not going to pay you, for instance, all you need to do is just turn off that account by suspending the account. Now, once you suspend the account, that account goes offline. So the customer will not be able to access that account again. And then when the customer has now paid for their services, what you just do is you come back in here and you turn on your account. So you, as a web hosting provider, must have that resolve to shut down customers. If you don't have that resolve to shut down customers, you'll find out that you have a lot of users on your system and they'll be using your services for free on a month-to-month basis and they won't want to pay. And then if a customer tells you, oh, I've lost my password, I can't seem to recover my password and all of that, you can come in here and change your customer's password. So here you have a complete management suite for your web hosting service. And it makes a lot of sense. So once you have all of these things, there are just a little bit of things here and there that you need to learn how to do. And once you learn how to do all those little things, you find out that you are able to run an effective web hosting business and the things just work. So in the next video, I'll talk about SSL. I'll talk about how you can create SSLs for your clients so that once your clients have their services with you, you can just set up SSL for them and then their websites would show that secure icon each time anybody goes there. And that really makes a lot of sense and boosts your quality in the market space as a provider who knows what he is doing. And once we are done with that, we'll now start talking about we'll talk about basic marketing. How do you start getting customers? Because that's very important. Our goal is that in the next 90 days, you reach a point in your business where you can start doing 50,000 to 100,000 naira a month. So you need to have a marketing strategy in place to make this happen. And we'll look at that in the subsequent videos. But in the next video, we'll talk about SSL. I'll see you in that video. Bye-bye.